What is going on, shrimp keepers? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com, and today we are going to talk about water changes on this monster tank behind me. We have not done a water change yet on it since we set it up, which it has been roughly three months and a couple weeks. So we're just going to say 3 months, and I'm going to show you what that's done to this tank. So currently we are running the lights about 8 hours a day. So far we haven't had too much algae, but we have had just the regular algae that appears on the front of the glass. We did have some staghorn algae a while back. We did a blackout on half the tank where it was located, and that took care of it. The mono shrimp must have eaten it up because we have no more of it. The mag floats definitely come in handy because this is a pretty monster tank. So we haven't had too many problems with algae since then, and the plants seem to be doing phenomenal. We don't even clean off the algae on the sides of the tanks, as it is a great place for the shrimp to graze. It's a great place for the baby shrimp to graze once we have them, and overall it really doesn't bother me. And so it's just creating that natural environment, a good balance. One thing that I absolutely love about this tank is the moss is doing phenomenal. And when I mean phenomenal, I mean phenomenal. Everywhere you look, it's just thriving, it's doing great. There's constantly shrimp grazing in it. I've always preached from the beginning that moss in a shrimp tank is almost essential just because it provides safe hiding grounds for babies, a great foraging ground for the adults and the babies, and overall it's extremely appealing to the eye, and I just love it. As you can see, on almost every piece of moss, you can find at least one shrimp. We do have a mono shrimp in here, as you can see right now. They are doing their job, keeping the plants nice and healthy, and keeping the algae off of them. So this tank has been a really great tank just to watch evolve. And not doing water changes on it has been really interesting. One of the biggest mistakes I see new shrimp keepers make is they apply the same principles as fish keeping to shrimp keeping. And what I mean by that is most people will tell you do huge water changes, constantly doing your weekly 20% water change. Some people even recommend 50, some people do 50% a day. Like, there's tons of things out there. And the moral of the story is shrimp do not need as many water changes as fish. And here's why. So with shrimp, the biggest thing to know is that shrimp are sensitive. Now, they're not overly sensitive if you follow some basic principles, which we've gone over those many times before, but one of the biggest things that I found is consistency is everything. Now, doing 20, 30, even 10% water changes weekly is enough to throw off your shrimp tank. So what we recommend is no more than 10% water change a month. Now, if you're doing everything appropriately, and that means that you don't overfeed, you don't have all this extra waste, you're not overdosing on fertilizers. If you do everything right, that is going to be more than enough. But standing behind me is a 480 gallon tank that hasn't got a water change in over 3 months, and there's 1,000 shrimp in there. So what does that tell you? So here's the things you need to avoid having to do tons and tons of water changes. The first thing is don't overfeed. Please do not overfeed. Once every 3 days is more than enough. Once a week, whatever it is for you, figure out a good schedule. You could even feed them daily, but just feed them in small amounts. Shrimp can forage, they can go around, they can look for their own food. They do not need overly ridiculous amounts of food, because that produces extra waste, which produces the need for more water changes, which is not good for shrimp. The other thing that you need is plants. The more plants you have, the better. Plants feed off of nitrate, which is the end of the ammonia cycle or the nitrogen cycle, and it just creates an overall ecosystem that is just going to work well for your aquarium. So we have tons and tons of plants in here. You can see the moss is thriving, the Java ferns, the trident Java ferns, the narrowleaf Java ferns, the Crypts, the swords in the back. Like, everything is doing phenomenal, and that's because we have a balanced system, and that is the key. So don't overdo it on anything. We don't need to overdo it on fertilizers. We barely put any fertilizers in here. So just keep it simple. Don't overdo it on feeding, and therefore you won't have to overdo it on water changes, and overall you are going to have success. So this is our sump. As you can see, it obviously needs topped off. We're a little low on water. That's on the to-do list for today. But one thing that I think is really helping this tank, and we're having amazing success with, is this new biomedia by Brightwell. They're called the export cubes. This is what we're using in the tank right now. It's called export freshwater plate. This is created for tanks that are below a pH of 7. So originally they created that as a saltwater media, but it unfortunately breaks down in pHs of less than 7. And so now they're testing out this new product, which for us is doing exceptionally well. We have had great success with it. And so this is one of the keys to success that we are really seeing. So one thing that we're really excited about is Brightwell came out with a complete shrimp line. It includes Remineralizer, Dechlorinator, black water, tons of different minerals, and even a food additive. So there's tons of stuff with this line. It's all behind me. We're actually going to be giving away a complete line in this video. Stay tuned till the end of the video to see how you can win the new Brightwell Shrimp Line. Another thing that I think is working really, really good for us is we're actually using matin filters in this tank. Just as actually this one, it was just a way for us to dampen the sound of the water. But I think it's actually providing a lot of beneficial bacteria because it's up out of the water, so it's more of like a wet dry filter. And then all the water passes through this second one. And I think these matin filters are really playing a huge part in filtering this tank and providing a good home for beneficial bacteria. And oftentimes we do let the water evaporate, so it is drying and then it's getting filled back up again. And I don't know, it's just seeming to be a flawless system that we've had tons of success with. And so really with minimal filtration, just water movement, this tank has just had phenomenal results. And the fact that we haven't done any water changes just shows that a tank this big and this beautiful doesn't need a ton of maintenance. One thing that is extremely interesting is the crypts in this tank. Now they are doing phenomenal, they look excellent, they're growing, they're spreading, they're producing runner after runner, but there seems to be this weird root formation that's grown up in the center of pretty much every single crypt that we have in here. Again, these are Crypt Wenti, I think they're bronze. And we just have, like you can see right there, there's just this interesting growth. Now when we zoom out, obviously this is an extremely healthy plant. There's no holes in the leaves. They just look phenomenal. They're growing like crazy. And so I'm not sure what is causing the roots to grow up. Maybe their root structure is so dense that it just grows up naturally. But I'm not sure. I've never experienced that before with keeping crypts. And so any advice on that would be excellent. All right, so the cavalry arrived. Jeff's here with some water water, or not even water change, just top off water. So we're gonna put pure RO water in here. And if you guys don't know, whenever you top off a tank, you always want to use pure distilled water or pure RODI, something with the TDS of 0, because when water evaporates, it doesn't take the minerals with it. So just redoing it with pure RO water is a good system. So that's what we're doing. We brought in the muscles to help with water changes. We got Ken in here. He's got a new tattoo going on right now. But more importantly, look what he's wearing. Aquashella t-shirt. That's from the first show in 2018 in Chicago. Ken's actually coming to Aquashella Dallas with me. He'll be there, and he is passing out free t-shirts. He said he did get t-shirts though. Maybe if you're his friend, he'll give it to you. I don't know. Forgot to say, this is Radical Reefs. Check him out on YouTube. You can find him at Radical Reefs on YouTube.
I think a lot of your followers have come over to me, but they're all freshwater, and I don't really do much freshwater. Some here and there, but I mean, I think if they watch, they'd still enjoy though.
Would they?
They might. I don't know. Well, I think you know.
What would they enjoy about your channel?
I don't know.
Was it your killer looks or?
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Your great personality? I
mean, probably at least both of those.
Or maybe the tattoos?
Maybe, yeah.
I figured while we were sitting here waiting for the water to fill up, topping off the tank with RO water, I figured we'd do something that I haven't done before. We are going to use, these are actually shrimp lollies. They're from Glass Garden. These are Artemia Lollies, which basically means they're brine shrimp lollies, so for extra protein. These are just a great thing to feed if you're having guests over and you want to show off your shrimp tank. So we're gonna stick one of these in there. I'm gonna show you guys how it works, and we'll show you this little feeding. Shrimp Line consists of 11 new products, which range from Remineralizers to bacteria, to Blackwater Clear, which is a really cool product, to a food additive, to a Dechlorinator, just all kinds of stuff. It's a really great line that we're just now beginning to work with, and we're really excited to start testing this out, but we do need your help, and that's why we are giving away a complete line of the 500 milliliter bottles. All you have to do to win is the following. So all you have to do to win this complete Brightwell Shrimp Line behind me, it includes 11 of the new products in the shrimp line, and they're 500 milliliters. All you have to do to win is 4 things. First, like this video. 2, share this video. 3, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And 4, comment down below and tell me why you want to win. That's it. That's all you have to do, and you could be the one person that wins this shrimp line. So there's 2 Brightwell products that I really want to talk about in the new shrimp line that I think are really, really unique. The first of which is Florin Multi. So Florin Multi is the first ever shrimp-specific tank fertilizer. So this product is specifically made for shrimp tanks that are planted. It's safe for shrimp. It's formulated specifically for a shrimp tank. Now you can use it on a fish tank, you can use it on other tanks, and the great thing about it is they all come with pump tops. So they really make it easy for you. It's either 1 pump per 10 gallons or 1 pump per 8 gallons. They all differ a little bit, but it really simplifies the process for you. So I think this is a great product that I think is gonna do extremely well. The next product is called Blackwater Clear. So Blackwater Clear is actually a Blackwater additive, but it doesn't have as much of the brown color that you normally get from adding Blackwater. So when you see like a natural shrimp tank or a shrimp river where they come from, most of the times it's really tinted brown because there's so many tannins. And what tannins are is when leaves are falling into the river, branches are falling in, cones are falling in, it discolors the water and kind of makes what they call black water. And so this is a Blackwater additive that is considered clear. So it's not going to discolor your water as much as normal Blackwater additives, or if you have a ton of cones and driftwood and leaves in your aquarium. So this is a really, really unique product that I think is going to do very well. Well, that's it. So 3 months of neglect, no water changes. I feel like this tank is doing pretty good. That shows you one thing. Shrimp do not need crazy amounts of water changes. No water changes in 3 months, and they are thriving. So if there's one thing that you could take away from this video, your shrimp do not need excessive water changes. They just need a little bit. They just need enough. And so we just do top offs. Make sure you do it with distilled water, RO water, RODI water, something that's purified. That way you're not adding extra minerals in. Also, you can have a beautiful planted tank without tons and tons of work. And this is the proof. So you guys make it a great rest of your week, and God bless.